Good morning, friends. Uh, Welcome on a very interesting conversation with one of my very dear friends, Kalyan, who's the founder of a boutique business consulting firm called Align Associates. So, what Align does is they work with companies to transform the way the business process operates, and by and large, moving promoters from becoming operational managers to real investors in their business. And he has some very interesting hands on experience in handling such transformations. And this conversation assumes very high levels of relevance in today's terms, where I don't think any of the business models which existed thus far ever makes sense, at least given the way the dynamics have changed and given the way the uncertainty which exists all around us. So it is indeed our pleasure and personally my privilege to welcome Kalyan, a chartered accountant by qualification and a business transformation expert, and who works with some of the largest names in the industry across sectors. Kalyan, thanks for coming. It's indeed a pleasure to have you on board. Welcome, Kalyan.
Pleasure, Divakar. Thank you so much.
Yes, I
Uh,
think
uh,
Kalyan. Let's start off, Kalyan. What do
yeah,
you?
sure.
What's been the problem which you're facing now with your clients, or what they are facing rather?
Yeah, sure. Hi, friends. It's really enlightening discussion we're going to have. This has been an interesting thing also. Personally, for me, as Divakar, you posed a question, what my clients are facing. Where we It's such a turbulent and uncertain times. My clients the last couple of months have been assessing, reassessing what needs to be done, how things have to be handled. Honestly, they are scared how the turnout of events would be, how the economy will fare, and how they're going to manage, how their employees will handle, where how cash flows will stabilize. So much of the honest the fear, and I can also add a little word called panic, is there in a business marketplace. Yeah. While I've been doing transformations the last 15 plus years, helping mid-tier, small mid-tier, large companies in re-engineering themselves, rebooting themselves to be able to manage required growth after establishing business for more than 10, 15 years. They now ask certain questions to themselves. What do they stand for? How they have to run the businesses in future? How professionally they have to manage their family businesses? These are some areas I've been helping companies in turning around, re-engineering, transforming businesses the last 15 years. But this is completely new. There's a lot of theory or practice where we have adopted the last 15 years may or may not work. We may need to go a little more deeper, little more strategic. We need to take a lot of tough calls. So the Okay, so this is the a thought process sharing I'm having. See, my 15 years of transformation experience and working with clients, and what we have to do in the uncertain times and the fear the clients have been passing through the last 2.5 months. I synthesized a kind of an approach note. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm calling it as a transformation chakra, and principally this covers four areas of transformation focus. Yeah. So one is strategic gear shift, right? So
Okay.
what all we have to do from a strategic front, the business transformation point of view, I'm going to cover in this. I have certain extremely important pointers we need to consider
Okay.
while rebooting our businesses. Second is from the people point of view. We are not from not alone cost point of view, but also skill point of view. It's very important dimension. Third is the process side, which needs a holistic view to the scheme of things. And finally, performance. How we monitor, conserve our resources will be key, extremely key for our future, right? So I'll go take one after another. So principally, we have around 16 directions to this chakra. The first area of focus for a business transformation the exercise is complete relook at our products.
Okay.
Yeah, what happens in products? Many a time if you look at your own businesses, you may be doing certain products because you've been dealing in those products for ages. Time has
Hmm.
come
Hmm.
now to relook at our portfolio, a product or services portfolio, and you have to really check is there a demand for these products in the changed situations, right? So two things matter a lot. You need to go and check in a stress situation like this, are my products still relevant? Are my
Hmm.
services still relevant? And if they are not relevant, you have to ruthlessly purge them. You have to recheck or reset your products or services, which you will be able to expect demand in the marketplace. So first pointer is the demand. Now the second is the costing. uh, I've seen my clients facing challenges on pricing point of view. How they going to cost their product. So many a times we not aware as to what would be what's the cost of our products and services. Time has come to check again, recheck if there is a need to go and reset the costs and the pricing. One of my client, he just shared his balance sheet and asked me to analyze the last the 1 year performance to check what he believes will have to be done. When I looked at his finances, I figured out that he's in stress. Then we went into product costing. We figured out that 50% of his products are getting him less than 75% less than the high product margins. So primarily, he was not aware that he has enhanced the products over a period of time, services over a period of time, but he didn't really look at passing on the additional cost to the clients because he is scared that he may lose out in the competitive world. While while now he's realizing that he can't survive anymore by beating down the costs. He has to add a USP to his products to be able to really distinguish himself from the mass janta, where he'll be able to get his price and the margins. The customer, you have to also look at your customers. What customers have added value to you? What customers have resulted the accumulated losses? So, a break-even analysis or a margin analysis, customer-wise margin analysis, if you can do for all your the businesses the last 1 or 2 years, you will realize that 20% customers generally give you 80% of profits. So it's time to relook at what customers are draining you, what customers have resulted you in losses. So can on I know it will be a little scary if I tell you drop those customers who have resulted you in negative margins, but I think time has come to do that because we have wafer thin bottom line is more important than top line in the coming year. So you can't keep building top line at a risk of losing out your the profits, cash flows, etc. So drop the customers who are not adding value, margins, and the markets. By the way, a few of my clients have started purging. They have started closing down branches, which they were not able to do in the last couple of years. There's always a stigma carrying with you that if you close down a branch, if you close down a business, if you close down exit a market, what will the consumers feel, the customers think? But I think now they gained the mindset that if they don't do, it will be pretty challenging in the coming year when the markets we're going to take definite 6 months time to at least get back to 70-80% of pre-COVID times. So exiting markets, exiting branches will have to be tough calls should be taken. And anyway, market will not think about it because uh, everybody is doing. I'm not saying purge ruthlessly. I'm telling purge where you've been making losses and you don't have a visible turnaround in the next 2 years that a branch or a market will make money for you, then time has come for to forego those markets and also focus on local markets. This is the travel strains being influencing decisions of businesses. It is always good to figure out what are the local markets you can explore rather than spreading too thin and large, wide geographical spread. Focus on lesser geographical reach, and then the channels. So, of course, e-commerce is always one channel which many customers have not yet thought about it. But believe me, we should now figure out in depth in all our products and services what all you can offer it on e-commerce, what all you can distribute it on e-commerce. So, if you have not done that before, it is time to really go through and divert adequate budgets to digital marketing because the digital reach is is increasing far more post-COVID times than pre-COVID. Believe me, I mean, I spend most of my time learning something on YouTube. So I can't skip a 4 second, 5 second video on YouTube. So I'll have to pass through it rather than skipping. So at least the 4 second, 5 second video has built into my head a brand consciousness or a product need. So I think those are the mediums people will go adopt. A quirky 30-second video which can go viral. One of my client had recently circulated hygiene preparedness, and but he was the trendsetter. He was first in the market, and believe me, that video went so viral. Now all the other companies in this sector are adopting that as a benchmark. So yeah,
I know
so
whom
he
you're
has
talking.
advertised. Yeah.
Okay, no, no, I know whom you're talking. But Kalyan, no, on the digital front, what you're saying, hasn't it become prohibitively expensive for people to market digitally? I
Yeah,
mean, today
very
the
good
cost per
question.
click is much more than the cost for driving a walk-in into a store, right?
Ve-
In many
ve-
cases.
ve- Very good question. But I would like to give a complete tangent view. I was researching on this front with a few other clients, and also sharing my time with my family, and I realized that making a little influencer digital videos is extremely cost effective. You won't spend more than 50,000, a lakh of rupees on a good influencer commented videos. So
Okay.
now these on YouTube generally or they go self-viral.
Hmm, hmm,
I
hmm.
agree with you that you don't need to spend definitely a lot of money to promote. But by being there with using very market required tags to your video, simple search engine optimization, yeah, will also give you phenomenal results if you're using 30-second videos, 1 minute videos, and try to talk about your content on mediums like Facebook and YouTube, Insta. They are getting more powerful now. We don't need to throw money
Mm.
on the big banners, the pushing click-based advertising. You
Get
need to
it.
have influencer-driven advertising. So
Mm.
a peer review kind of advertising on digital mediums. So somebody writes a blog about you. You don't need to worry that how many people have read the blog. If you go and ask a question, you will have humongous responses coming on from blogs, Quora. A question and answer will actually influence a buyer more than a beautifully designed full page ad.
Article, ad or article. Yes.
Yeah. So digital medium, when I'm talking, we are talking about methods of the conversational engagements.
Okay.
Uh, uh, yeah. Yeah. So sure. So I mean, there needs a complete strategic shift. Just re-summarize the strategic gear front. Yeah. Drop all the products where you not made money. Identify products and services which have high demand and high margins. These are your cash cows, right? Then drop off the customers who resulted in losses to you. It's a very funny thing to say, but nevertheless, top line is more important than bottom line is more important than top line. Don't worry about turnover now. Worry about the profits. Worry about positive cash flows. Exit the markets is the right time to do. No stigma attached. If you can always get back and say that, boss, the COVID has the COVID economic slowdown, COVID effect. So we are taking some decisions. So it's a right time to take those calls and identify digital mediums because new channels. That's the way to go for at least couple of years to come.
Okay.
Concept, the key element of the whole thing is highest margins. Look at making money. Don't look at making business. Yeah, even if you even if you would think that your turnover is going to come by 30-40%, if your profits don't come down by more than 5-10%, then you're in a good wicket. So think about profits, don't think about turnover. That's the message I would like to give in a strategic thought process. Now, people front, reskill. Now, everybody is looking at how do they manage their day-to-day operating costs. It's we've been most of the time. My experience is we tend to not take tough calls when it comes to people. We are always, of course, it has to be. We have to take care of our employees, but not at the cost of non-performance. What I'm seeing my clients are doing is they're identifying what skills are required in those employees. They're adding skills of an employee into another employee, and then trying to consolidate the team. So basically, skilling is the need. One skilled person is more than three unskilled the persons. They will deliver you more. You pay him three times the salary, but if he is accomplishing you four times the four people's work, then you're still the net effect is positive for you. So reskill your employees. If, for example, one of my client, how he handled this, he figured out of four employees, one is a non-performer, but he had to retain him because he possessed a specific skill. But he couldn't take an action on that guy, though he was a very careless, casual, complacent attitude. Now, because of this challenge, he figured out that the skill that fourth gentleman possesses he got the other three gentlemen trained during this break time, during this slack time, and he forego on the fourth employee. So now he was able to handle the same work with far more efficiency within three employees. So that's I mean, taking action on non-performers who are not adding value, or more importantly they are casual, complacent, etc. Will This is a good idea to change over. Right size the manpower. Now, I would say there are lots of outsourcing opportunities. Do not try to add people for your own. Try to get specialists from outside. There are a lot of freelancers available in the market front. There are websites where freelancers can offer their services on a per hour basis than a per month basis. Many a times, if you look at the certain talent within your company, they are utilized only 40-50% of the time. Rest of the time, they are either vacant or empty or unoccupied or don't have actual work. So shared resources, shared the occupancies, the outsourcing part work, or using freelancers for just utilizing the 25-hour value add in a month would be the way you need to manage the talent and people front. So weed out non-performers by restructure it, consolidate departments. Don't have more departments when you don't need. Consolidate them, keep thin staff. I will also address this when I'm talking about process area
Okay.
dimension to it. Yeah. Uh, uh, then bring role clarity to your employees. The moment people are clear, their roles are extremely clear to them, what they have to deliver to you with a clear end deliverable. They are far more faster, efficient, and effective in meeting your expectations. So this is a time to reset their role clarity, consolidate, etc., and finally have a proper measurement system. You should have variable pay integrated and measurable KPIs towards your employees. Don't compromise it. In one of my client, he's a trader. Recently, we helped him to reset his PMS. So, of course, most of the top management staffs have taken the burden of the COVID. They cut down the salaries by 50%, 60%, etc. Now, the management also realized that this whole thing may not change for the next 3 to 6 months, or maybe even a year or so. So, what has he, instead of bringing their salary back to pre-COVID times? So they are continuing with the same pay packet of 50%, but they are bringing at least 75% variability in their salaries, which used to be 20-25% variability. Now they are making it 75% variability. So result driven, the metrics driven, measure driven the variability factor is now. But one other side, the management the team are being done in the particular company, trading company I'm talking, is they have increased their salaries. That the cost of the company has increased, but the variability also has increased. So it is a net win-win for both employee and the company. Employee can now earn more than what they were getting pre-COVID times, because if they deliver more, they can actually get more from the company. So, that kind of reengineering. So the key for people shift is get smart people on board. Don't compromise on abilities now. This is not the time to think that okay, he's complacent. Accept, don't accept, because it's a time they have to all gear up, add, learn more skills, consolidate, right, and be accountable. Yeah, the moment they are clear deliverables, metrics are clear, then they'll become far more effective for as an organization. The third dimension is process. Yeah, the element is automate, automate, automate. What all? So many a times we maintain so many things in Excel. Excel is duplication. Excel is
Mm,
double entry. Excel is wastage of the people's time. So dump them. Now is the time to dump all the Excels. Get all them consolidated, little apps. There are various ways to develop applications, the simple applications like Google Forms or flexible the online platforms. But the concept is don't use Excels because it drains. My experience in the last 15 years is Excel drives most of the data the capture systems, and people put their data more in Excel than in ERPs and in software. So the moment you put data in Excel, use it for Excel is a good analytic tool, but it is not a good data capture tool. So you move them, automate them, etc. Consolidate them. Now, most of the time, your time is spent on preparing reports. Bring dashboards in play. Automate the MIS. Create data warehouses where multiple applications can be consolidated, integrated at one place. All this will actually bring phenomenal value at the top management because you are able to do the same work with at least 30-40% less effort. Bring robotics in play. By the way, I guess a lot of people would have heard about RPA, robotic process automation. Our RPAs and bots will completely transform the way to go in the coming days. So we can't follow the same processes what we've been following before. We'll have to see where all you can adopt the artificial intelligence, where all you can adopt machine learning, where all automated data entries can happen, right? Where all scanned based data entries instead of doing data punching. Data entry will have to be more the optical character recognition driven, etc. Barcode driven, OCR driven. No hand to keyboard punching. Try to see how where all very simple way to weed out is go and study your business processes, identify where all a human being is sitting and punching the data by seeing something. He is touching the keyboard with his fingers and putting some data. Figure out those are the points you can automate it. See if you can replace them with barcodes, OCRs. Many other RPA tools are available, so you'll be able to cut phenomenal cost and also data accuracy. Data accuracy is maintained, integrity is maintained, right? uh, then do reengineering, drop off the process which are not necessary, do it in urgency. I've seen people maintaining Excel sheets, data being entered in Excel and also updated in ERP, double work. So figure out why it's happening, and Rob, I'll give a little story which I heard during
mm,
my management consulting times. A very nice story. It is related to Queen of England. Yeah, apparently in the palace, the Queen was rushing to a meeting. She went to a basement and she wanted to go to a washroom. So then she had to use the washroom in the basement, right? And she couldn't come back. And then immediately security protocol said post a staff there, right? So a staff was posted outside the washroom. Then the queen left and went, and then nothing happened. She never used that washroom ever. After a year or so, there was a review of the entire work profiles, role clarities, and the processes across the palace. Then they figured out that this gentleman security guard was placed outside the washroom for the last 1 year because he was asked to be posted, and but nobody reviewed and said now is the time you're not required here anymore. You see, many a times in our work also, we sign so many papers, we sign so many things without really asking why we are doing it. Many process like this they become they become habitual, but we don't question why we are doing it. It's a time now to
Correct.
ask questions for whatever we are doing. Even a single tick on a paper, you should ask, why am I doing this tick? Is it necessary? Can I replace it? Can I automate it? Is there a better way to handle it? Am I doing which is not necessary altogether? Eliminate duplication,
Hmm.
eliminate manual. Now, don't do anything manual. Try to see there are tools and techniques available for every damn thing today. And go cloud. Go
Kalyan,
cloud.
here, one thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to this automation and bots, RPA, now, how, given the low cost of manpower in India, does it financially make sense to have RPA tools, let's say
Yeah.
automating finance function or accounting function?
Yeah.
Because,
Very good question.
uh, what is the
Yeah.
cost?
Very insightful question. In short term, Diwakar, employee cost is not alone the employee cost, but also problem of accuracy, problem of skill set not available.
Hmm.
Yeah, the time it takes for coaching a staff is immense, and after that, attrition takes the guy away. The cost of
Hmm.
attrition, the cost of again searching for new staffs in the market, bringing them on board, training them, coaching them, it's a big hassle for companies in today's
Agreed.
times.
Agreed.
And more so in COVID times where travel and transport is very challenging.
Okay.
Migrants are moving away, and it is far time they will come back. We never know how they may find opportunities reaching their home states. In all these situations, more tangible value of automation need not be more intangible value also
Get it.
will
So
actually
not necessarily
be
cost
beneficial.
consideration, other reasons. Okay.
Yes, yes, not necessarily cost consideration. Data accuracy is extremely key.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and the speed and availability
Yes.
also.
Get it.
Yeah. Then the cloud, everything is moving into cloud. No need of having big, large servers. Don't waste your money and effort and time in maintaining big data warehouses, data centers. Yeah, no need of investing on hardware, networking software, very very complex hardware. So have cloud and mobile as the way to go. This is going to mobile is going to replace all desktops and tablets in the years to come. It's time to take action right away. If for example, if there is a proposal in any of your companies that you have to purchase 100 desktops in the next 1 year or 2 years, just figure out, can you re-engineer your business process in such a way that you don't need a desktop, but people can do things from their own personal mobile phones by making apps available. Get the digital entry, move away from desktops to mobile data entry, and move away from the hard ERPs to cloud-based applications, right? So it will make you very flexible. If you have a lockdown time, you still can go home and restart the work from where you have left it. So business continuity point of view, cloud-based and mobile-driven applications are far more resilient and cost-effective, etc. So the key here is be total digital till the end consumer. Try to see how you can automate and digitize the entire value chain, the entire process, right? Don't compromise on the technologies available. We have to make use of it. Yeah, yeah. Finally, the performance gear. Adopt analytics. I'm uh, I'm kind of last couple of years I'm researching. There are every company has got so much data, but and still we take gut calls. We take gut calls, we fail in some, we are okay in some. We're with having so much of data and still it's very unfortunate we are doing that. While data analytics can actually answer so many questions we have from business point of view, yeah. So use them, use your data and apply analytics. There are very easy user friendly platforms available, online cloud, the ways and means of algorithmic analytics, yeah, the simplified algorithmic analytics which will can predict, which can answer your question what to do, what not to do. I would like to give few examples. I don't want to get too technical. There are simple statistical algorithms like regression analysis, right? Classification, right? They are all very beautiful, useful prediction or decision taking softwares, algorithms, right? Use them. They're very easy to learn also online cloud. You go to YouTube, you have multiple places these concepts are being taught, including software. Anyway, use them to have proactive alerts. Yeah, have that system where you can alert management of impending challenges, problems, etc. Next is monitor. Take, believe me, I mean this is a Japanese style of the working. They don't spend too much time on execution. They actually spend 30-40% of the time only in planning, 30-40% in execution, 30% of the time they do monitoring only. Monitoring, resetting, yeah. So by so much of planning, by so much of monitoring, your execution is sharper. Execution will happen. The discipline. I would again come reflect another management. They were asking a question was posed by a management that their employees don't listen to them. They don't care. They delegate, but eventually, whatever they tell, it doesn't happen. Then I asked them a question. Okay, you tell your employees to do A, B, C, D. You delegate it, and how frequently you check whether they have done it, and how periodically you do this checking. He said, "No, I don't do. Why should I do? Because I trust my employees. If I tell them something, they should do it. No, I mean they are far more professional. If I tell them, I mean my work should happen." I said, "Listen, I will just flip it from an employee point of view. Now, employee gets continuous instructions from management. They are asked to do A, they are asked to do B, they are asked to do C. Now, if you ask him to do A, but you never check upon to verify, the employee will feel okay. He told it. It's not important, so I don't need to think about it. So an instruction B goes to him. He listens to it, and he doesn't check it back. Employee thinks, okay, it's not so important. I mean, it's okay. I mean, even if I don't do, it doesn't matter. Eventually, it's become a habit, and it
Hmm.
becomes culture in companies. You give instruction, if you don't check, you are indirectly telling the employee or the management team that it's okay to defy the command. It's okay not to do this also. Monitor, you give less instructions, but you check every instruction, and you check it very periodic. You check it on a periodic basis, means weekly or a monthly basis. You have to check upon your plans. You have to check what instructions you are given. You have to set up a very systematic review. Yeah, very important for all your the strategies to work. If you do not have this monitoring system, it's a recipe to fail all your strategic plans, annual business plans. Nothing will get accomplished. Only
Yeah.
monitoring will activate the accomplishment.
Okay.
Have today you can do in little monitoring point of view. Don't waste your time and energies on having big jing bang internal audit team. Use robotic audits. There are a lot of
Hmm.
plug and play audits which will monitor your business as how an auditor will do. Sometimes
On real
auditor will,
time, yeah, no.
yeah, Divaka, you telling
No,
something?
no. Does it happen on real time, the robotic audits?
Yes, real time they happen.
Fantastic.
The
Okay.
audits happen real time. Immediately, they won't even allow a transaction to pass through if a particular threshold is met, or a check condition is not fulfilled. So they stop it, and they won't allow it to happen. To that extent, robotic audits can be integrated. So you know what will happen after that? You don't need to worry. You're assured. You can run super fast towards your business accomplishment, execution, because you know somebody is taking care of your monitoring point of view, 24 bar 7, that is, right? Periodic reviews will help. Uprise, right? Why do we need to do this? Employees, gone all the days where people want annual appraisal. I mean, annual appraisals are not effective, by the way. This is my experience, and also I've read a lot of research articles on this, studied at a human psychology level. Yeah, people need continuous feedback, very quick feedback. It could be less than a month also. You appraise, you appraise them, tell them where they are good, where they need improvement. You keep continuous feedback. The person, of course, you should also go. Feedback means it is not only negative; it should be positive too.
True.
Feedback also tells him that yes, I'm doing the right thing. He needs that assurance. You know what, employee? I've done this survey research, and I've read one place, and I really dipped into a lot of clients of mine and did this survey. Ask employee what is the biggest question that every employee has in their mind. Believe me, you will get very surprised when you hear an answer. Every employee has got only one question: what does my boss think about me? Yeah, yeah. So they want to know, is my boss happy with me? Is my boss sad? Is angry? Every employee want to know me. Most of the time, 10 hours of their time, and which is more than 70% of their living time they spend with their bosses. So they really want to be acknowledged, appraised from the most important person in their lives. Bosses are the most important. Again, number one reason for attrition is also a boss. Huh? Number one reason for people leaving the company is also the boss. So it's a both sides of a coin. It can make the benefits, and it can also destroy. Okay, now is the time to conserve resources. Believe me, you have to conserve resources and cost everything. Maruti Udyog used to cost 3D space. Can you believe it? Maruti Udyog Limited, a manufacturing company where I worked 20 years back, 15 to 20 years back. Those days were so much of cost consciousness was there. They used to say cubic space cost per month is 25 rupees. I said, what is cubic space? I mean, how can you space it? We all have heard of space. Costing of space is per square foot. Square foot rentals we know. Square foot cost we know. What is cubic space? They air the space in the air also is being costed. The cost it takes to cool it, the cost it takes to light it, the cost it takes to maintain it, yeah, clean it is all is a cost. So if you have to conserve resources, you should start thinking from a space point of view. Maximum you should not waste. Of course, rental will definitely get a big hit in post COVID times for sure, but still we should also have costing for everything, including material, man hours, the space, and cut cost, conserve cash, right? Reserve for rainy days, all have to be part of your strategic roadmap, transformation roadmap. The key here is robust decisions, robust, fast, quick, timely decisions, informed decisions, analytics driven, right? And the decisions to be enable employees also to take the right decisions by giving them the right feedback, right? Yeah, these are all the drivers in this thought process,
Nice,
right?
nice, very nice.
Yeah, yeah. I guess the team would have had certain directional thought process in this.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. And we've also
I'm
got some questions on the WhatsApp group.
okay,
Just
okay.
read it out, Kalyan. Now, this is a case where what would happen is reduction of manpower, an
Mm,
option which companies should aggressively pursue,
mm,
or
mm,
in your experience, are organizations focusing on reducing fixed and increasing variable. What should be the,
Hmm.
is there any single point answer to this, Kalyana?
Yeah, today's what a buzz I'm hearing from all the companies I'm talking is high variable, low fixed. That's the buzz.
Okay,
So it's
across
a
industries.
across industries. I'm not hearing it from trade, manufacturing, retail. Everybody is saying we should have higher variable and low fixed. Primarily from the thought process that they would like to unburden their P&L accounts during crunch times like these, so
Okay.
that their outflow on a fixed basis is lower. When at a performance level, it will vary. So it seems to be a win-win. But during these times, complacency will go for a toss.
True.
Employees tend to get a little scared, little uncertain. While this has got two benefits also, then lazy employees will not be lazy anymore. They will be up and working, the active, proactive, or they will leave and go. They will leave and go to greener pastures. But there is also a danger that performing employee will leave the company and go. It is
Hmm.
not because variable pay disappoints and demotivates him. It is if you don't along with variable pay, if you don't create a transparent system of appraisal, metrics, measurement, and compensate him for his effort, it won't work.
Get
So
it.
when you're having high variable, you should also give the measurement criteria to the transparent measurement criteria to the employee, saying that these are the levels at which you will be earning so much of money. He should know that. If he's not aware about that, then he'll get a little scared and jittery. So
Hmm.
then he will go to more safe and comfort giving organizations.
Okay. 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 But you don't know where you have safe and comfort in these times, Kalyan, across
Agree
organizations.
with you. Agree with you.
So
Agree
another
with you.
question
Just a
is
tough time. Mm.
regarding your RPA and robotic automation. How expensive is it to install these solutions?
So, good news for all of us is during these times, everybody is going by a subscription-based modeling.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you so you are not incurring high capital cost, you're using it on a go, and definitely it is far, far lesser than the replacement of manpower.
Okay. Okay.
So it may range anywhere from 10,000, 15,000. It can go to a lakh or two per month outgo for you, depending upon the volume of automation and volume of robotics you would like to use.
Okay. 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 Okay.
While I can assure you that replacement cost, there will be definite cost cutting. Of course, you can do a cost benefit analysis when you're taking this decision.
Okay.
What money, what time and effort and manpower you are incurring today, the replacement cost through robotics will definitely be your payback period will be not more than 2 to 3 years, and sometimes less than 1 year or two.
Okay. 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 So based on the size of the organization, ideally.
Size of the organization and in extent of automation, it will vary.
Okay. 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 Interesting. Interesting. Now,
More so, the speed also will enhance, Divakar. It is just not alone the manpower cost.
cost.
The
Okay.
speed of processing, the
Hmm.
time taken to capture, example, in an RPA environment to capture data from one form, right? If a normal person does that activity, he may punch not more than 50 to 60 transactions per hour. But RPS
Okay.
can go to the level of 400, 500 transactions per hour.
Okay. Okay.
Now, the speed of capture will make you more robust, more efficient. You can handle more volumes. Your capacity of the company will enhance, will increase.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah.
And the next question is, I mean, it is all good about automation and robotics. What is the lead time to get into a strategy implementation in this direction?
Okay. Very, very. very smart question. I think somebody has already started thinking to do this. So he's really, in my opinion, okay, I'll tell you from the examples of corporate world. Normal corporate world start in the month of October, November to prepare a strategic roadmap for the next year. Of course, we don't have the kind of luxuries now.
Hmm.
I believe you should take not more than a month to properly analyze the markets, analyze the products, analyze the finances, analyze your costs, analyze your all this you should have done before. Then you can write a strategic roadmap. Then you can
Hmm.
list out what all bulleted the areas of improvement or areas of changeover. I believe it should not take more than a month for you to come out with a full-fledged the strategic plan, because you have to also involve your employees in it. Please
Get it.
don't exclude your employees in this the decision. Employees have to be part of this whole exercise. Why? Because then they are bought in. You don't need to again do a convincing exercise with them. They also contribute with their knowledge to be
Get
able
it.
to give you a holistic view of a strategic decision.
Get it. Get it. Get it. Get it.
A month should be enough for you to translate that into a business plan.
And from there to get it implemented.
3 months from there
Okay.
should
Okay.
be a right time.
Okay.
If you do it parallelly, all of it, or 3 to 6 months
Okay.
should be
Okay.
a time you should be up and running. You start seeing results
Get it. Get it.
of the activities you have taken.
I think maybe you should do a live demo or sorts of how robotic RPA and robotic audits work,
Yes,
Kalyan, sometime.
definitely we can have another session on how robotic audits work
Yes, I think that'll
and
be
robotic
very,
process automation work. Definitely,
yes,
definitely.
yes. I think that most of the questions what we have are all from the finance function. I think
Oh, okay, okay,
accounting and
great.
finance seems to be the pain points for many institutions.
Okay,
I think
okay,
we
okay,
ourselves face that both in our consulting and lending businesses, getting
okay.
qualified accounting people and more importantly, making them stay is
Very
a
true.
very big challenge.
Very true. In fact, I would also see. I would like to share one experience. In fact, I'm using this software called QuickBooks, right? Very interesting. So, QuickBooks has got a feature where it is directly integrating itself to the bank statements from the bank
Yes,
the websites,
yes.
right? It downloads those transactions even from credit cards, right?
Wow.
And
Okay.
after it downloads those statements on the credit cards, it also has got a feature to post the accounting entries based on the description on the credit card
Credit card.
statements,
Wow. Okay.
right? So you know now, after that your entry is passed, you may need to just approve it.
Get it. Get it.
So
Get it.
you know what all I got automated? The job of waiting for a bank statement to come by courier, opening, filing, then going verifying one entry or putting that information again in tally against the transaction, then
Mhm.
verifying you accounting entry has to be passed in tally no before. So here
True, true.
accounting entry is also not need to be passed. That accounting entry is passed by the software itself
Mm-hmm.
by reading the description. So you can in fact adjust those words also. If you say these words like hotel is there, book my show is there, or make my trip is there, you post it into these heads. These kind of
So you can give rules
intelligence.
on the fly. Okay.
Yes, that rules also can help you to pass that accounting entries accurately. These are all robotics.
Get
Now,
it. Get it.
what I'm saying is robotics is going into every area of operation, more so for accounting functions for sure. Yes.
Get it. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, just a sharing. Yeah.
Kalyan, I mean, we are nearing 11. So thanks a lot for for the insights, Kalyan. I think it's been a very, very informative session, something which is extremely relevant in these times. And as
Thank you, Divana.
discussed,
Sure.
I think there are plenty of takeaways for all of us, which we can implement in our businesses. More
Sure.
importantly, very soon we shall meet once again on your RPA and robotic audits. I think that should be of a lot more interest for the larger.
Sure, definitely. Definitely. RPA and robotic audit would be, I will come back with you with a prepared session.
Sure, certainly, certainly, Kalyan. Thanks a lot. Thanks for being with us this
Thanks,
morning.
Divakar. Thank you so much. It's been really pleasure. Okay. Take care. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye,
you.
all
Bye.
friends. Yeah.